I filmed my girlfriend leaving a man's bedroom. Then I sent the video to her Catholic parents. Now her dad cut her off, and her mentor just got fired. I've been with my girlfriend Vanessa, who is 24, for about a year and a half. We've been living together for the past 6 months. Generally, things have been good, but something has been bothering me lately, and I'm not sure if I'm being reasonable or overly suspicious. Vanessa works as a junior analyst at a consulting firm. Around 2 months ago, she started talking about a coworker named Derek, 28, a male, who apparently attended the same graduate program as her a few years earlier. Vanessa says Derek has been very helpful in explaining some of the more complex client work and has offered to help her prepare for an upcoming certification exam that could lead to a promotion. At first I thought this was great. Vanessa has been working incredibly hard and deserves the promotion. The issue is that these study sessions are always held at Derek's apartment and typically start around 7 or 8 p.m. Vanessa doesn't get home until 1-3 a.m. When I asked why they couldn't study at our place or at the office, Vanessa said Derek's apartment was more convenient because he had all the reference materials there, and it was quieter than the office. This is what has been bothering me. Vanessa turns her phone off or doesn't respond when I text her during these sessions. She claims it's because they're so focused, but she's usually very quick to reply. When she gets home, she typically smells like alcohol. When I ask about it, she says Derek occasionally offers her a glass of wine to help her relax while studying, but she's never been much of a drinker before. These sessions happen 2 to 3 times a week and have been going on for roughly 6 weeks. Last week, I offered to bring them both dinner since they were studying so late. Vanessa became very defensive, saying it would be distracting. When I try to express my unease with the situation, Vanessa accuses me of not trusting her and calls me insecure. What truly bothers me is that Vanessa has many other co-workers she could study with, including several women in her department who are also pursuing the same certification. When I brought it up, she remarked, Derek is the only one who's already passed the exam and knows the material well enough to help. Last night was the final straw. Vanessa left for her study session at 7 p.m. I texted her at 10 p.m. asking when she would be home, and received no response. I called at 11:30 p.m. It went straight to voicemail. She finally arrived home at 2:45 a.m., clearly drunk, and when I voiced my concern, she accused me of being controlling and possessive. This morning, I told her that I'm not comfortable with these late-night study sessions at Derek's apartment and asked if we could find another arrangement. Vanessa yelled at me, screaming, I don't trust her. Derek is only boosting her career, and I'm undermining her success because I'm insecure. I want to be clear. I'm not trying to control who Vanessa spends her time with or prevent her from advancing her career. But arriving home after 2 a.m., smelling like alcohol after regular study sessions with a male coworker, while being unreachable by phone, doesn't seem normal to me. I don't feel like I'm asking for much when I want better communication or a different study setup. Vanessa is now giving me the silent treatment, texting her sister that I am toxic and dominating. Her sister called me and told me to trust Vanessa or break up with her. So, am I a jerk for asking my girlfriend to stop her late-night study sessions at her coworker's apartment? Am I being unreasonable, or are my concerns justified? Edit. Thank you for your replies so far. Several people have asked for more information. Vanessa and I have a generally positive relationship, and this is the first serious disagreement we've had. I have no history of being jealous or controlling. The certification exam is still 3 months away. Despite Vanessa's constant mention of Derek, she has yet to introduce me to him. When I suggested meeting him, Vanessa stated it would be tough to mix business and personal life. Comment 1. NTA dude. I've been married for 12 years, and I can tell you that study sessions don't last until 2 a.m. There are no study sessions when wine is involved. The fact that she refuses to answer her phone and becomes defensive when asked fair questions is a major red flag. You are not being dominating by setting boundaries around your girlfriend's personal late-night hours with another man while drunk and unreachable. Ops reply, thanks for this. I've been second-guessing myself because Vanessa is usually pretty reasonable, and her reaction was so strong. It helps to hear that my concerns aren't completely off base. Comment, dude, trust your instincts, man. I overlooked similar red flags early in my first marriage and later regretted it. If she is truly concerned about your feelings, she should be willing to compromise on the venue or schedule. Comment, I work in consulting. There's no reason why these study sessions should take place in his residence until 2 a.m. Most certification preparation can be completed during normal business hours, and if they're truly studying, they should be sober and focused. The fact that alcohol is used frequently tells you everything you need to know. Also, any decent coworker assisting someone with their studies would be understanding about including the spouse or meeting in neutral settings. Ops reply. That's very helpful context. Vanessa made it seem like this was common in your field, but it never felt right to me. Comment NTA. The biggest red flag is that the phone is turned off. Here's why. What if there's an emergency? What if something happens to you? No study session is important enough to be completely unavailable for 6+ hours at a time. Ops reply. This is exactly what I tried to tell her. What if her parents needed to contact her or something happened to me? She simply replied I was being exaggerated. Comment 5. I'm a woman who works in consulting and has obtained equivalent certifications. I've never had to study in a male colleague's place until 2 a.m. with booze involved. There are study groups, online tools, review classes, and many other possibilities. She is making decisions without following appropriate procedures. Ops reply. Thank you for this perspective. It's good to hear from someone who actually works in the field and has gone through this process. Comment 6. Info. Have you met Derek? Has Vanessa offered to introduce you? Does she discuss these study sessions freely, or does she appear secretive? Ops reply. I have not met Derek. Vanessa objected to mixing work and personal life. She talks a lot about him, but it gets awkward when I ask specific questions about what they studied or discussed. Usually, she just mentions work stuff before changing the subject. Comment 7. YTA. You are insecure and controlling. Vanessa is an adult who can make her own choices regarding her career and friendships. If you don't trust her, don't be in a relationship with her. This post reeks of toxic masculinity. Ops reply. I respectfully disagree. I trust Vanessa in general, which is why this circumstance confuses me. I'm not trying to restrict her career or friendships, but I believe it's appropriate to set boundaries for personal late-night events involving drinks. Update. After reading your comments, I decided to try and have a calm, honest conversation with Vanessa. I waited until she was in a good mood yesterday evening and approached the situation as delicately as possible. I explained that I had been thinking about our disagreement and wanted to better understand her point of view. Vanessa seemed agreeable at first. I asked her to explain why these study sessions had to be held at Derek's apartment and why they couldn't meet during normal hours or in public areas. Her reasoning was essentially the same as before. Derek has all the resources, his apartment is peaceful, and they can focus better in the evening. When I inquired about the drinking, she revealed that they normally share a bottle of wine during their meetings, but argued that it helps her relax and remember things better. When I told her this bothered me because it seemed more social than academic, she became defensive, saying I was reading too much into it. When I inquired whether I could meet Derek, the conversation went downhill quickly. Vanessa's response was swift and forceful. She claimed it would be unethical and unprofessional to introduce her boyfriend to a coworker. When I mentioned that she had introduced me to other coworkers at corporate gatherings, she explained that Derek was unique since they have a professional mentorship relationship that should not be confused by personal relationships. I tried to remain calm and asked if there was any way we could work out a solution, such as having her study at our house or having me pick her up so she didn't have to drive drunk. Vanessa said I was possessive and trying to influence her job advancement. She accused me of not wanting her to succeed and claiming that my insecurity would hold her back professionally. Vanessa ended the talk by suggesting that if I couldn't trust her, we shouldn't be together. She claimed Derek is only a friend who is assisting her professionally, and she will not sacrifice her professional development for my jealousy concerns. Here's where things get interesting. Vanessa left for work early this morning, and I ran into her friend Jasmine near our apartment. Jasmine and Vanessa have been good friends since college, and she also works for the same consulting firm in a different department. Jasmine asked how I was doing and added that she had heard Vanessa and I were having some relationship problems. I didn't want to go into detail, but Jasmine mentioned the certification exam and stated she was thinking about preparing for it as well. She inquired whether I thought Vanessa would be willing to include her in the study group with Derek, was confused and asked what she meant. Jasmine responded, "You know, the study sessions they've been having. I've been wanting to join but wasn't sure if they'd want another person." I realized Jasmine had no idea these sessions were taking place in Derek's apartment or that it was just the two of them. When I mentioned this, Jasmine appeared surprised. She explained that she had assumed there was just one thing, which is why she hadn't been invited. This led to a longer conversation during which I learned several alarming facts. Jasmine and two other female colleagues are studying for the same qualification. Despite Derek's reputation as an expert, none of them have been invited to study with him. Jasmine had asked Vanessa a few weeks earlier if she wanted to start a study group, but Vanessa declined, stating she had it covered. According to Jasmine, Derek is not the only senior colleague who has passed this qualification and is willing to assist. Jasmine seemed genuinely worried when I explained the scenario. She found it strange that Vanessa wouldn't want to study with others if she was serious about passing the exam because group study is normally more productive. After speaking with Jasmine, I'm even more convinced that something wrong is happening. If these were truly just study sessions, why wouldn't Vanessa include her co-workers who are studying for the same exam? When Vanessa arrived home tonight, I decided to ask her about it. I said that I had run across Jasmine and discovered that she and others were also preparing for the certification. I suggested Vanessa invite them to her meetings with Derek. Vanessa's reaction was swift and fierce. She said I had no right to disclose our relationship troubles with her friends, and that I was attempting to destroy her study plans. When I suggested that studying in a group could be more beneficial, she said that Derek's teaching method is tailored to her and that other students would be a distraction. I asked her directly, if this is really just about studying, why can't Jasmine or the others join us sometimes? Vanessa replied I was interrogating her and that she didn't need to justify her study methods to me. Vanessa ended the discussion by saying she'd be at Derek's tomorrow night as scheduled and that if I can't handle it, I should figure out what to do about it. She's now staying in the guest room and refusing to speak to me. I feel like I'm going insane here. Everything Vanessa says theoretically makes sense, but her conduct and reactions do not reflect someone who is simply studying with a coworker. The fact that she refuses to include other people studying for the same exam, refuses to allow me to meet Derek, and becomes enraged when I ask questions leads me to believe that something else is going on. I'm beginning to explore some of the comments in my initial post regarding showing up at Derek's apartment, but I don't want to be the person who doesn't trust his girlfriend. At the same time, I feel deceived. How would you handle this situation? Comment by Jasmine found in the comments section. Hello, this is Jasmine. I am a lurker who noticed your post and wanted to clarify a few points. Everything OP stated about our talk is correct. Vanessa's behavior makes me quite concerned because it is unusual in our industry. Several of us have wondered why she wouldn't want study partners when we're all working toward the same goal. The fact that she keeps this so distinct from her other friendships is a major red flag. Op, you are not crazy. Op's reply. Holy crap. Jasmine, I can't believe you found this and decided to comment. Thank you for backing me up. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Comment, dude. Go to Derek's apartment the next time she's there. You'll get your answer quickly. If they're genuinely studying, they'll sit at a table with books and notes. If they are not, well, then you'll know. Op's reply. I've considered it, but I'm concerned about crossing a line. What if I am mistaken and wind up seeming like a psycho boyfriend? Comment, her colleague Jasmine verified your concerns, which changes everything. This isn't about your insecurity anymore. You have objective evidence that Vanessa's behavior is strange and secretive. Trust your instincts. Op's reply. Exactly how I feel. Jasmine's opinion confirmed that this is not typical workplace conduct. Comment, the fact that she is staying in the guest room and giving you the silent treatment for asking fair questions says it all. Honest people do not respond defensively to legitimate questions from their partners. Op's reply, you're right. If I were in her position and my concerns were truly unfounded, I would want to reassure her and not punish her for asking. Update 2. This is likely to be my final update, and it is not the one I had hoped to write. After the chat with Jasmine, and Vanessa's increasingly protective conduct, I determined I needed to know the truth, regardless of the outcome. I know some of you told me to just show up at Derek's place, and while I was worried about looking like a neurotic boyfriend, I recognized I was already in a relationship with no trust or communication. Vanessa left for a study session last night at 7 p.m. She kissed me goodbye as usual, but it felt strained. I waited about an hour before driving over to Derek's apartment complex, explaining that I was bringing them coffee and cookies because they were working so hard. Derek's address was familiar to me because Vanessa had mentioned the building previously, and I was able to locate his apartment number by consulting the building directory. When I arrived at his door about 8:30 p.m., I could hear music playing inside, but not the focused silence you'd expect from individuals studying. I knocked on the door and waited. It took around 3 minutes for someone to respond, which seemed weird given that they were just sitting at a table studying. Derek appeared flustered when he eventually opened the door. He was dressed in a t-shirt and sweatpants, and his hair was disheveled. He clearly didn't expect to see me. Oh, hi, he said. You must be Vanessa's boyfriend. We're just wrapping up for tonight. I could see into the apartment from over his shoulder. There were no books, papers, or study materials, visible only an open bottle of wine on the coffee table and Netflix on pause showing a romantic comedy. Derek looked frightened as I asked, "Can I come in for a minute? Actually, this isn't really a good time. Vanessa's in the bathroom, and we're about to wrap up anyway." That's when I heard Vanessa's voice from deeper in the apartment asking, "Who is it?" In a tone that didn't sound like someone studying, I pushed past Derek and entered the apartment. The apartment was small, so it only took a few seconds to realize what was going on. Vanessa emerged from Derek's bedroom, dressed only in Derek's button-down shirt. Her hair was tousled, and she had that post-sex look that I recognized from our own relationship. For a while, the three of us stood silently. Vanessa's expression changed from perplexed to scared as she comprehended what had just happened. "This isn't what it looks like," she began. "But honestly, what else could it look like?" I pulled out my phone and began recording. "So, this is studying?" I asked Vanessa. "Can you explain to me how this constitutes certification exam prep?" "Don't you dare record this," Vanessa cried, but she was too far away to stop me, and I honestly didn't care about her comfort at that point. Derek attempted to step in front of my phone. "Dude, come on, don't be that guy. Don't be that guy." I laughed. "I'm not the guy. My girlfriend is pretending it's a study session." I caught approximately 30 seconds of film before Vanessa grabbed a throw blanket from the couch and covered herself. The video plainly shows her wearing Derek's shirt, walking out of his bedroom in an apartment with no study equipment and evident indicators of intimacy. "Get out," Vanessa screamed. "Get out right now. You have no right to be here." "I have no right?" I inquired. "I'm bringing coffee to my girlfriend's study session, and I find her half naked in another man's bedroom, but I have no right to be upset." Derek, to his credit, appeared genuinely uncomfortable about the situation. "Look, man, I'm sorry. This got out of hand. It wasn't supposed to happen like this." "Shut up, Derek," Vanessa yelled. I looked at Vanessa, who was hugging the blanket over her and looking at me as if I had done something wrong. "How long?" I inquired. "It doesn't matter," Vanessa replied. "You're not supposed to be here. You can't just show up at people's apartments uninvited." "How long, Vanessa?" Derek responded quietly. "About a month." "We need to talk," Vanessa remarked. "But not here. Come home and we'll discuss this like adults." "No," I replied. "We're done talking. We're done, period. You can come get your stuff tomorrow when I'm at work." Vanessa screamed after me as I left the apartment, telling me I was making a tremendous mistake and ruining everything for nothing. When I went home, I was in complete shock. I had hoped that if I showed up and saw that they were truly studying, I'd appear like an idiot, but still have a relationship. I sat in my car in our driveway for perhaps 20 minutes, trying to understand what had just transpired. Then I got enraged. That's when I made a decision I'm not totally satisfied with, but I'm not wholly sorry for either. Vanessa is from a highly religious family. Her parents are devout Catholics, and her 3 siblings are also very active in their church. They are lovely individuals, but they have very traditional views about relationships and marriage. Vanessa has always been the good girl in the family, and her parents adore her. I shared the video with her parents and all 3 of her siblings. I included a statement claiming that Vanessa had been lying to me for months about studying with a coworker, and when I went to check on her, I saw them together in his bedroom. I expressed my grief and disappointment, and I believed they should be aware that the relationship they had been supporting was founded on lies. Within an hour, my phone blew up. Vanessa's mother contacted me, crying, and asked whether the video was real. Then her father called, outraged, and demanded to know what type of man I was for publicly humiliating his daughter. Then Vanessa's siblings began calling. Finally, Vanessa called me, completely frantic. "How could you do this to me?" she yelled. "You've ruined my relationship with my family. My parents are devastated. My dad is talking about cutting me off financially. You ruined your relationship with your family when you decided to cheat." I told her I just made sure they knew the truth. "This is revenge. This is cruel and vindictive, and you're trying to destroy my life." "Vanessa, you destroyed our life when you started with Derek a month ago. You destroyed it when you lied to my face every day for weeks. You destroyed it when you made me think I was crazy for having normal concerns about my girlfriend's behavior. I made a mistake. People make mistakes. This doesn't mean our whole relationship should be over. A mistake is forgetting to take out the trash or double booking dinner plans. Having an affair for a month isn't a mistake. It's a choice." Vanessa attempted to persuade me to delete the tape as if it were possible. She said she'd break up with Derek and we could go to counseling. She said she'd do anything to make things right. But here's the thing. Even if she hadn't cheated, our relationship would have ended anyway. Vanessa stopped over this morning. While I was at work to pick up her belongings, my neighbor texted me that she had come with Derek the Audacity and 2 other friends, and that they had quickly loaded up a U-Haul truck. She left her key on the kitchen counter with a message that read, "I hope you're happy. You've ruined my family relationships and humiliated me in the worst way conceivable. What you did was worse than anything I did. I hope it was worthwhile." Honestly, it was worthwhile. Jasmine texted me this morning saying she was proud of me for sticking up for myself and that other people at Vanessa's workplace were aware of what had occurred. Derek is apparently married, which I had no idea about, but his wife discovered the affair, so there were more consequences than I had anticipated. But honestly, if you're going to have an affair, you have no control over how far the consequences go. Thank you to everyone who has commented on my past posts. Your encouragement and insights made me realize that I wasn't being unreasonable, and it gave me the strength to follow my intuition. Edit. Many people want to know if Derek is married. I learned about this from Jasmine after everything had happened. Apparently, it is not widely known at their job that he is married because his wife works in another city, but a few people are aware. When his wife found out, she called Vanessa's company, and the situation became workplace talk. I don't feel sorry for him. If you're going to cheat on your wife, don't be surprised if it destroys your life. Edit 2. Some argue that I was wrong to include Vanessa's family. I appreciate the point of view, but I'd like to clarify something. Vanessa's parents have been financially supporting her since she began her employment because the entry-level consulting wage in our city is insufficient to cover her expenses. They have been paying a portion of her rent, car payment, and student debts. They had a right to know that their good girl daughter was having an affair, especially given how committed they are in her life and our relationship. They've invited me over to dinner dozens of times and treated me like family. I believe that they deserve to know the truth about the person they were supporting. Comment 1. Holy op, I've been following this saga from the beginning, and while I wasn't expecting the family nuclear option, I can't say I blame you. The sheer audacity of Vanessa screaming at you for embarrassing her when you caught her literally naked in another man's bedroom is mind-blowing. NTA for any of this. OP's reply, I was aware that the family issue was contentious, but after being misled for weeks, I felt compelled to inform people of the reality. Jasmine, this is Jasmine again. The fallout at work has been tremendous. Derek is in major problems with HR because he is married and was having an affair with a subordinate who is theoretically senior to Vanessa. Vanessa has requested a transfer to another team. Everything has been a mess. Comment, Jasmine, could you confirm whether Derek was actually Vanessa's mentor or whether it was also part of the lie? Jasmine, he is not involved in certification preparation at all. He does not even have the credential that Vanessa was supposed to be studying for. The whole expert mentor stuff was total BS. Final op comment. Thank you for following this journey and for your support. I wanted to provide one final update since many people have asked how I'm doing. It's been a week since everything went crazy, and I honestly feel better than I have in months. The incessant anxiousness and self-doubt have gone. I am sleeping better. I'm not walking on eggshells anymore. Vanessa is currently living with her older sister, and her relationship with her parents is still strained. According to Jasmine, her father supposedly advised her that she needed to check her moral compass before they could restore normal interaction. I don't enjoy her family drama, but I don't regret my actions. Derek was dismissed yesterday, apparently. The affair, the misrepresentation of certification competence, and the fact that he was theoretically in charge of Vanessa made it an easy decision for HR. His wife is moving forward with the divorce. Thank you again to everyone who encouraged me to trust my intuition. You most likely saved me months or years in a life-filled relationship. I'm going to step away from Reddit for a while to focus on moving forward, but I'll report back in a few months on how things are going. Relax and trust your instincts.